These days, we have blonde girls, pink-haired girls, little pink-haired girls, blood-sucking vampires, and tons of romance anime. But it's time to take a trip down the memory lane and see some old romance anime you can watch. Here are 10 old but gold romance anime you must watch. Let's go. Number 10, Romeo x Juliet.
せっかく助けてやったのに。
助けてやった？さすがに貴族様は偉そうだ。
何？
助けるんだったら、さっきのあの娘を助けてやればよかったんだ。
おい。
Let's start with a bit of Shakespeare. Nope, we're not following the same story because this has the good old anime touch to it. Juliet, Lord Capulet's young daughter, escapes the tyranny of Leontes Montaigu and fights as the Red Whirlwind. Yeah, so she's like a female version of Batman, wearing a costume and being your typical Robin Hood. On one occasion, she meets Romeo, the son of Leontes, and despite the parents' struggles, they fall deeply in love with each other. They carry out their relationship in secret, just like in the original play, but the settings and story arcs differ from one another, and the ending involves a mystery that can decide the fate of the world. If you found your English lesson about Romeo and Juliet boring, then you'll definitely like this one. It's got that love, drama, politics, and an ending that doesn't involve corpses coming back to life. Number 9, Shuffle.
ハイミン君、お弁当。
サンキュー。楓、自分のは？
すみません。
If you've watched my Yandere video, then you might know this as the anime with a psychopathic childhood friend. If you haven't watched it, then here's a recap. Shuffle starts when gods and demons decide to live as this guy's next door neighbors. Our main two love interests are the daughters of the gods, Sia, and the daughter of the demons, Nerine. But turns out none of the girls are crazy, and the one with the mental issues is our childhood friend. She doesn't like our guy starting to date angels and demons and wants them all for herself. You know what? That's pretty great in my opinion. We always see the childhood friend getting kicked around and then getting rejected in the final episode. Shuffle says no to that concept and makes the childhood friend a yandere. And we all know it's better to jump off a building rather than have an angry yandere inside your house. Number 8, Earl and Fairy.
話して。
このままじゃ落ちるよ。
The title speaks for itself. We've got an Earl, we've got a fairy, and the Earl wants the fairy because it turns out she's a fairy doctor. So she decides to serve under him, and our rich guy becomes her master. I know master-servant relationships aren't very original, but Earl and fairy definitely deserve a top spot when it comes to anime of this niche. It takes this whole concept of fairies and presents it in a very unique and interesting way. And don't forget the Japanese love Western folklore and mythology, so the novels this anime were based on were an instant hit. This also has a lot of shoujo elements, but it doesn't affect the overall story, so make sure to give this one a watch. Number 7, Love Hina.
でも話に夢中でこけちゃって。
そうなんだよ、実は。嘘。
いけない？
I know, you're going to ask, hey, why are you bringing harem anime into romance anime? But come on, fellas, what matters is that our guy chose the girl he wanted in the end. And Love Hina is one of the most popular titles back in the day, and I'm speaking about the days when you were probably 2 or 3 years old and were learning how to walk. The guy here is Kaitaro Urishima, a boy who owns his grandmother's apartment named Hinata House and must deal with its issues while also facing his university exams. Here we meet Naru Segawa, a girl who excels at studying and also has a fiery temper and beats the hell out of you if you get to her bad side. Kaitaro now has to live with Naru while also finding answers to a mystery he had in his childhood. If this gives you Nisekoi vibes, then just remember, it comes before Nisekoi, so that doesn't matter. Number 6, oh my goddess.
申し遅れましたが。私、女神のベルダンディと申します。
Alright, let's get to a comedy show because these are the shows that can put a smile on your face. And in this world, we have a Goddess Help Hotline. What does this hotline do? When you call this number, a goddess will land on your doorstep and grant any of your wishes. Yeah, I know, that's the type of world we all want to live in, but our main character doesn't ask for any wish. She just asks to live with the goddess herself. Yep, Kazuma style. Oh, my goddess may not be very good with its pacing, but you've got tons of fun characters in this show. The comedy is what carries this show since it doesn't have any long and boring dialogue or any action scenes. So if you need a laugh while sipping a goddess and a human, then make sure to watch this one. Number 5, Nodame Kentebile.
思い出した千秋先輩むきゃ昨日のこと覚えてますか
You want to watch a story about two musicians that doesn't give one of them a heart disease? Then Nodame Kentebile is the show for you. The romance relationship is also very interesting and also feels unique. This time we have our guy playing the violin and the girl playing the piano. And as soon as they hear each other's music, it becomes one of those love at first sight scenarios. This also happens in Europe and not in Japan, so it's nice for the setting to change every once in a while. The characters also have their own quirks, like the guy being a perfectionist and the girl not knowing what to do with life. Instead of seeing everything in high school instead of romance anime, here we have a musical school. If you're a music genius, you'll love it. If you're a romance anime fan, you'll love it more. Number 4, His and Her Circumstances.
ごめんなさいくそなんて間抜けなとこばっかで壊すんだもう逃げるんだ私は負けになんじゃ
誰も来てないの
This one's old, and by old I mean really old. It was released in 1998, and for me, this is one of the best shows released in that era. Just like Oh My Goddess, this goes for a comedy first, romance later approach, and the characters we meet are the people who make this show so interesting. Here, we have Yukino Miyazawa, the most popular girl in the school, and everyone's favorite idol. She loves the attention, but in truth, her best girl appearance is just a mask. So when her rival, the male representative of the class, Arima, makes a love confession, she turns him down and later regrets it. But then Arima comes back the next day and starts to blackmail her, and the two's rivalry soon develops to a whole new level. Yep, this is one of those enemies turned lovers stories, and it's one that plays all the right tropes. Number 3, Inuyasha.
おいキキョウムカデジョウロみたいな雑魚相手に何やってんだ
今喋った生きてるの
Everyone's heard of Inuyasha, but if you're going to kick this anime away thinking this is all action, then stop right there and have another look at it. The premise of Inuyasha is pretty simple. A middle school girl from modern-day Tokyo who is transported to the Sengoku period of Japan after falling into a well in her family shrine where she meets the half-dog demon, half-human Inuyasha. If you were listening, Inuyasha is the main character with the demon powers in this series. Inuyasha is both a human and Inugami. The romance in the series comes a bit later, but it's present in the anime more than other shonen anime in the era. And did you know, Inuyasha even has a sequel series. So if you love this show, you can check that one out too. Number 2, Nana.
何雪吊りの人にこんな話してんだろう私
雪吊りの人いいじゃんもっと話してよまだまだ長い旅になりそうですさ
This is definitely one of the most realistic animes I've watched. I'm not going to start with names because these two women have the same name, but they have two completely different personalities. One's very cheerful and friendly, but also naive, and the other is more ambitious and can keep her head held high even in the most desperate situations. The entire world the manga author crafted feels addictive to the point you'll wish the anime stopped being realistic. If you're tired of romance anime that repeat the same old plots and character tropes over and over again, then give Nana a shot. The 47 episodes feels like 7 episodes because when the realism and pain kicks in, you're definitely going to binge watch this show till the end. Number 1, Clanad.
アンパンこの学校は好きですか私はとっても好きですでも何もかも変わらずにはいられないです
You might remember Clanad After Story as the anime that broke your heart and made you a crybaby. Clanad is the prequel of it and tells you about the high school years of the characters. Clanad follows Tomoya Okazaki, who wastes his high school days by acting like a delinquent. Things change when he meets Nagisa Furukawa and joins her drama club. Now, with the help of several other girls, Tomoya's life-changing story begins. Clanad is pretty simple compared to its sequel, and the first few episodes have a ton of comedy. But once you finish watching the series and you move on to After Story, that anime is going to break your heart. It is one of the saddest romance anime ever made, and you're going to stay depressed for a couple days after you finish watching that anime. So, Clanad is old, gold, and can make you cry in your sleep. That's why it's going to be the number 1 in this list.
ダブったのか
はいダブっちゃいました